Hey, Riley J, 2A here. Okay, back with doing another 2A roundup. Haven't done one in a while. This one, finally, we're going to be talking about some Second Amendment wins for a change, okay? Now, because this is a roundup video, I'm not going to go into detail on anything. I'm just going to give the broad strokes. You guys can look into these cases further if you want, okay? And I'm also going to say everything I'm going to be talking about here today it all comes from New York State Rifle and Pistol Association versus Bruen decision. And I'm going to be saying New York State Rifle and Pistol Association versus Bruen a lot in this video, so get used to that. Okay, first thing we're going to be talking about is Texas's limitation or ban rather on 18, 19, and 20-year-olds from carrying handguns outside of the home for protection, okay? Texas has constitutional carry. However, it does not apply to 18, 19, and 20-year-olds. So that was challenged in the case of Firearms Policy Coalition versus McCraw, or Andrews versus McCraw, okay? And a federal judge in that case has, based on Bruen, overturned that in the state of Texas. So that is great. That's a big win. Simply, okay? Now, based on that, okay, moving on from that, but based on that decision in that Texas case, now Florida, there's a lawsuit filed in Florida, which is challenging Florida's, restrictions on 18, 19, and 20-year-olds from being able to, carry and I believe have handguns in the state of Florida. So that is in the case of NRA versus Swearingen. Okay, so another big win, and that's based on the Texas decision, which was based on Bruen. So those are a couple big wins based on Bruen. If you live in Texas, great. If you live in Florida, great, okay? Now, obviously, the Texas case has been won or been overturned. Now, we'll have to see, what else there is to the situation. In Florida, the suit has simply just been filed. But in any case, we're headed for wins, which is great. Already had a win in Texas. Great. Okay, moving on from those. Now, obviously, in New York State Rifle and Pistol Association versus Bruen, that whole case was about the whole states having may issue concealed carry or carry licenses, rather. Now, New Jersey, like New York, had a may issue carry law. Now, obviously, that was directly struck down in Bruen. So New Jersey, the state of New Jersey, has now started issuing concealed carry permits. So that is really good for you if you live in New Jersey. Really good for freedom. Now, you don't gotta tell me, oh, you shouldn't even need a license to carry. Okay, I know that fully, and I agree with it. But, the situation is in New Jersey and in half the U.S. states, you do need a permit in order to carry a handgun. And, in some states you couldn't get that, but now, based on Bruen, you can. And in New Jersey, you now can get a carry permit. They've started issuing them. So that is great if you live in New Jersey. And, that's really all there is to say there. Okay, going to another incredibly terrible state for concealed carry permits. Hawaii, okay? They have not given They have not given a concealed carry permit in 20 years, okay, in Hawaii. And the only reason 20 years is the number is because that's as far back as the records go. Who knows how long it's actually been since they've given a carry permit in the state of Hawaii. They have now also, like New Jersey, started giving permits. Okay, in the county of Maui. Okay, so I'm sure the rest of the state will be able to. I'm sure the rest of the state will follow, but as of now, Maui has started giving permits. So that's great if you live in Hawaii. Okay, now moving on, okay, to the final talking point of this video, which is New York State Rifle and Pistol Association versus Bruen 2. Okay. So obviously, New York State Rifle and Pistol Association versus Bruen, the one that we, allowed for everything I just talked about, the original. That was challenging New York's May issue licensing scheme. Okay, now after the original Bruen decision was issued, New York decided to put out they decided, oh, well, we can't have a May issue scheme anymore, but we still want to take people's rights. So what did they do? They came out with the CCIA, which is Concealed Carry Improvement Act, okay? Now what that did is, since they had to give permits based on Bruen, which they still haven't started doing yet as far as I know. Okay, so they started the CCIA in order to get around the original Bruen decision, which is Concealed Carry Improvement Act, improvement, and it does many things, including tons of new sensitive locations, gun-free zones, including all of Times Square being a gun-free zone. Okay, and as far as I know, this law has already went into effect in New York. So, New York State Rifle and Pistol Association versus Bruen 2.0 is challenging that law. Okay, like I said, it makes tons of new sensitive locations, including all private businesses, unless stated otherwise. And the list goes on. This does so many bad things. This is an incredibly terrible bill, and I'm sure it's going to get overturned in time in this new lawsuit, New York State Rifle and Pistol Association versus Bruen 2. Okay. So that's all I really wanted to talk about today. Just 4 Second Amendment wins, all based on Bruen, okay? New York State Rifle and Pistol Association versus Bruen decision is the only reason we had all 4 of these wins that I talked about today, okay? That's what we have to thank for it, okay? So that's great, and that's going to be it for me. So, goodbye.